Okay, so bear with me here just a second. So this was me walking into a thrift store yesterday, and I'm telling you guys how excited I am that I get to go to a bunch of thrift stores, and I'm gonna find a bunch of stuff and I'm gonna sell it online for a lot of money. Pretty exciting, right? Well, about 5 hours and 8 thrift stores later, and I made a total of 4 purchases. And I'll definitely tell you about those later. They're pretty awesome, but that's not the point. The point is that seems to be the trend lately. The days of crazy thrift hauls seem to be over. I haven't filled up a cart in like forever, and there's probably several reasons why. Thrift stores have started pulling all the good stuff and putting it online. There's an influx of new resellers. There's weird YouTubers telling everyone what is valuable and what to look for. I even had one Goodwill employee tell me that their floor was basically empty because they couldn't find anyone to work. So what are we supposed to do? As far as I can see it, we've got 2 options. Number 1, we could find new ways to source because, let's face it, there's a bunch of them. This is really relevant, by the way, because I've got some exciting things in the works, so make sure you hit that bell button down below. Or number 2, we can adapt and learn new things to look out for. And that is what we're focusing on today. I'm going to show you how I adapt, how I find new things to be on the lookout for, and I'm going to use the footage from yesterday when I didn't find hardly anything to show you how I do that. This Goodwill was actually my first stop yesterday, and we just passed something that I don't see at thrift stores very often. It's these sprinklers. Now I know that these particular ones aren't valuable, but I'm curious to see if there are some that are worth flipping. Let's find out. So I'm just gonna go to eBay, I'm gonna type in sprinkler, and I wanna see ones that have actually sold. And then I wanna sort by highest price because I wanna see the valuable stuff. And this is a pretty interesting contraption here, a walking sprinkler. So let's go into that a little further. Okay, did you guys know about these walking sprinklers or sprinkler tractors? They're definitely worth some money and hopefully something new that you can be on the lookout for. Unfortunately, Goodwill didn't have any walking sprinklers in stock, but I did find something pretty valuable to resell, and Goodwill basically told me that it was valuable. All the electronics on these shelves were marked at $9.99, $6.99, $7.99, but this one box, they had it marked at $29.99, so I decided to look it up. And I'm glad I did because this thing actually sells really quick for around $125, $135, and even some high as $150 and $170. So after a quick test, I decided to pick it up. This is a heat therapy pump. You put water in this container, it heats it up, pumps it through some tubes and into a pad. You put that pad on an injury or arthritis or soreness of a muscle. It's basically a glorified heating pad. Like I said, I paid $30 for it and it's sold already. Gotta ship it tomorrow for $150. Sold in about an hour. So definitely be on the lookout for stuff that Goodwill prices up. Sometimes they do leave a little meat on the bone, and it's a good indication that there's some value there. And speaking of value, as I'm editing this video, I noticed that laundry basket sitting in the corner, and it reminded me that there's basically money to be found everywhere. Check out some recent sold comps on eBay of some valuable laundry baskets.
What?
Next spot, and just like Goodwill, they price stuff up too, but sometimes they don't leave meat on the bone.
This ink cartridge, it's new, sealed, sells for 90 bucks. They want $98.50.
So that's definitely not going to work for me, but let's at least see if we can learn something new. So here's something I see quite a bit of at thrift stores that I don't really pay attention to. Remote controls. Usually I see them in a big bin and they're usually pretty cheap, but are there any that are valuable? From what I see, some of the most valuable remote controls are replacement remotes for adjustable beds. Who would have thunk? People are looking for these remotes and they're not cheap. Also, Logitech Harmony remote controls. These things sell anywhere from $20 to over $500. So I'm definitely going to spend a little more time in the remote controls bin from now on. Now, I can tell you one place that I didn't spend a whole lot of time, and that's this next Goodwill. It was pretty empty. I didn't find anything. I mean, there's a lot of space between these clothes. Usually the racks are full. But one section that was pretty full was this board game section. I mean, check out all these games. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot about board games. But just like anything else, we can put it into eBay, search by highest price, and see which ones are valuable. Unfortunately, none of these super valuable games were in this section, but I did take a minute to comp out a few of the games that I never heard of. Unfortunately, no real value there. But if I ever run across this Hero Quest game or this Wizard of Oz game, I'm going to be a pretty happy guy. Definitely wasn't happy with this next Goodwill though. I didn't find anything. Walked out empty-handed once again. But I'm looking through the footage and I see this rolling pin and I'm thinking, is there such thing as a valuable rolling pin? Well, apparently, after some quick research, there is. Check out these Pioneer Woman rolling pins. Never heard of them before, but some of them sell for over $200. Definitely a hot commodity that I'm going to be on the lookout for from now on. And then on this next shelf, there's these dumbbells. Did you guys know that there were valuable dumbbells? Some of them can go for some crazy money. At this next stop, I did spot some Guitar Hero controllers, and those can actually go for some crazy money too. Unfortunately, these were either too beat up or overpriced to be worth it for me, but I did see this red helmet sitting there. And that reminds me, there is a particular helmet that I've been looking for forever. It's like my grail or my white whale, something I've been searching for and haven't found, and they're extremely valuable. I'm going to tell you guys about it just because you made it so far in this video, and I appreciate it, but you got to keep it a secret. It's these vintage Bell Magnum helmets. I mean, they're the most unassuming helmets that you'll ever find, just plain helmets with Magnum written on the back. And you can see they go for some crazy money. I've been looking for one for years. I've yet to find one, but I will one day. If you guys ever find one, please let me know. And speaking of vintage, I actually did find something pretty cool at this Salvation Army. It only cost me $3. Check it out.
Holy cow. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Definitely awesome. Vintage 1994 Kyle Petty all over print, made in the USA, single stitch t-shirt. Yeah, pretty cool. And not super valuable, probably 40 or 50 bucks based on condition, because it's definitely faded, got some cracking in the graphic, and the collar's a little stretched out. But either way, awesome find for $3. And so was this Patagonia men's chinchilla pullover at the next spot. Best part, you only charged me $2 for it.
Yeah.
And then we can back up the footage and you guys see these purses sitting here. We can look them up on eBay and see which ones are worth the most. And there are some extremely valuable purses. But I think you guys get the point. And I'd like to issue you guys a challenge. The next time you're at a thrift store, pick up an item, a random item that maybe you've never seen before. Try looking it up on eBay, whether it's that specific item or the item in a category, and sort by highest price. I promise something's going to pop up that maybe you've never seen before, something valuable that you've never heard of. To me, that's one of the best ways to learn. It's one of the best ways to stay ahead of these thrift stores, to stay ahead of other resellers. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.